When to do DIY and when to call a pro. We've all been there. Something breaks and we're stuck wondering, should we fix it ourselves or hire someone? I'll share my simple framework for making those decisions, plus real life examples, so you can feel confident the next time something needs fixing. Knowing when to DIY or knowing when to hire a pro can save you money, protect your safety, reduce stress, and make sure the repair lasts. Everyone is different, and only you can make the decision whether you can do it or you need to hire a pro. It's all about your comfortability. And I hope in this video series I'm going to have every Saturday, we're going to help you build your confidence in yourself. We're going to build your skill level. We're going to build your knowledge of tools so you can tackle things. But we're going to start with very basic fixes. You can't just jump into a hard repair. You're going to have to start off slow, work your way up, and before you know it, you'll be fixing all kinds of things, but there'll still be things that you will probably hire a pro for. So let's start off with my decision-making framework. First, I ask myself a simple couple questions. Could this be dangerous if I do it wrong? Do I have the tools and the skills to do it? What if it costs more if I messed up? Do I realistically have the time? Could there be any hidden issues? That's always a thing. And finally, how quickly does it need to be fixed? So that's my mental framework when I look at a repair that needs to be done. But don't let that scare you. There's a lot of things that are so simple that you could do yourself. You just need to know how. So here are some examples of beginner-friendly fixes. Some repairs are totally beginner-friendly, like replacing a faucet washer, patching a small drywall hole, unclogging a drain, or replacing batteries in your thermostat. Now I guess I should share some examples of jobs that are better off left for the pros. Some jobs are risky or complex enough to call in a pro. Things like electrical wiring, major plumbing repairs, roof work on steep heights, or even structural work on walls, beams, or foundations. I'm going to give you some examples of some beginner-friendly fixes. Like once I fixed the pop-up drain in my sink, it was stuck in the down position and it would not pop back open. I figured out ways to fix it myself. I even made videos about it, and that video is doing very well and helping a lot of people. That's an easy fix. Like, there was no need to call a plumber. I tried several different methods of unclogging it until I found something that worked. And you know what? Everything I tried could have worked, but sometimes things don't always go your way, so you keep trying different things. And you know, when you sit down and you think about different things, sometimes it's not as hard as it looks. And I finally got the pop-up drain up. I was able to drain the water out of the sink. And then I figured out how to get that drain plug out. And there's a mechanism inside and it needs to be taken apart. I took it apart, I monkeyed with it, and I realized that if I just put a little bit of grease in there and put it back together, insert it back in the drain hole, and put the cap of the pop-up drain back on, that would probably keep it lubed up for a while. And sure enough, 3 years later, that same pop-up drain has not been stuck. And you know what? You can always find how-to tutorials on YouTube, especially my channel. I have videos on how to fix a lot of things, and I'm still making videos, so YouTube is a lot of help. Now here is something else that was kind of dangerous. It wasn't hard to do, but it was a steep climb on my roof. What I was doing was cleaning my chimney, so I was up there with a brush and some extensions, and I put it all the way down, and I was sweeping out my chimney. And I have done this many times before, but on this particular day, it was 6 years ago. On this particular day, I went up there and the roof incline was like pretty steep. But what I did was I had my running shoes on and I would walk up on the screws. The roof was, it wasn't slippery. So I'd walk up there and I cleaned it. Like I said, I'd done this maybe, I don't know, 3-4 times prior to this time, and everything was fine. And this one particular day, a cloud came over and just spit a couple raindrops on our roof. Hardly anything. Just a few raindrops. It was just a spit. My wife was down below. She didn't even realize it was raining. And you know what? After I cleaned my chimney, I threw my tools down, and then it was time for me to come down. And those little bit of raindrops was enough to make that roof slippery. And the way I went, I slid down like this, and then the roof goes this way. and it was like a turn, and I went down the rest of the way and right off the end onto the ground. Luckily for me, the ground, like I was coming down this way, it was a walkout basement. It was kind of pointing down like this, as it wasn't a flat ground, and I slipped like that. And it was a hard landing, don't get me wrong, but if it was a flat landing, it would have been, I don't know what to think it could have happened, but it was like this. It was bad enough that I hurt my back so bad, and I actually blacked out for a second, and it was so painful. I could not move. So they called an ambulance, came and got me. I went to the ambulance. Long story short, I came home that night. I was I was in a lot of pain, but I still came home that night. And it took me 2, 3 weeks to recover from that sore back. I was very lucky. But there's a job that I'd always done myself and saved $200-300 each time, that I paid somebody ever since then until now to do that job. I decided this is a job for the pros, and I wasn't risking my life up there on that roof anymore just to clean a chimney. I have the same feeling about wiring too. If you do any wiring repairs or changes in your home, you always shut the power off. But you know what? There's always that thought in my head that, what if I didn't connect wires properly? So I actually do my own stuff now and then. Nothing too serious. Like say to hook up a ceiling fan, I know how to hook the wires up and everything. And I double, triple check everything before I put that ceiling fan all the way up and turn it on. But there's jobs, most electrical jobs, that kind of freak me out. So I don't bother messing with that too much. I'll hire an electrician to come in. Also, I'd like a wall built between our laundry room and, I guess you would say, it's kind of like a mud room and kitchen. I have no experience about building interior walls, exterior walls, so that is a job I would leave to the pros. All depends on what you feel comfortable and your skill level. So there's a few DIY repair jobs or things you could do yourself, and some that maybe you should call a pro. I jotted some things down because I don't want to forget. So some simple repairs and maintenance that you could do yourself, build up your confidence to maybe move on to the next level of repairs around your home. So here are some simple repairs and maintenance. Tightening loose cabinet hinges or door handles. Okay, this loose cabinet hinges, I remember when I was like 23, I had my first apartment, and I had a loose hinge on one of my kitchen cabinets. I didn't know anything what to do, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And finally, the one hinge let go. It broke off, and the door was dangling by one other hinge. So I had to let the owner of the home know, who I was renting from. And he says, "How did this happen?" And I said, "Well, it was loose for a while." He says, "You should have let me know before it got worse, because now it's a bigger fix." And that is true. So that's something that can be handled on your own very easily. That's just one example of something that you could do on your own and build up your skill level. Here's another one: patching small holes in drywall. That's very easy. I talked about that in my last video. Replacing worn weather stripping, that's something else you can do. Replace furnace or HVAC filters, definitely. Lubricating squeaky doors. Basic electrical, so it says non-structural here. Replacing light bulbs or light switch covers. Changing out old light fixtures with the power off. Swapping out faceplates or outlets or switches. I would agree with swapping out faceplates. I wouldn't feel too comfortable telling people to try and do outlets or switches when they've never done anything at all. I don't want to be the person to tell you to go ahead and do that. Eventually, you might want to try it. You just have to pay really close attention that you're putting the wires exactly where they're supposed to go to the outlet or the switch. Like I said before, if I don't have the video on my channel, there's lots of good videos on YouTube that will show you and walk you through on how to do that. Minor plumbing fixes, like unclogging a sink or a toilet, you could do that. Replacing a toilet flapper or handle, fixing a dripping faucet or replacing a washer, installing a new shower head. These are all excellent little repairs you could do on your own and save a lot of money. There's even installations like on shelves or wall art, installing curtain rods or blinds. Actually, I do have 2 fairly new videos where I show people how to order cheap blinds on Amazon, how to measure your windows before you order, how to choose what you need to get, and install it. So those are very easy things you can do on your own. Assembling furniture, like sometimes you get a computer desk. Those things can be very difficult for some people, but if you follow the instructions and you have basic knowledge of tools, you should be okay. I'm going to teach you about tools as well. Some cosmetic updates you can do on your own, like painting a room or touch-ups, recaulking around tubs or sinks. That's always something that should be done, recaulking tubs or sinks, because you do not want those areas to be leaking water behind your wall, between your tub and your wall, or between the wall and your sink, or places like that. You want to fix those immediately. Replacing cabinet knobs and drawer pulls. That's an easy job too. These are all small wins that can build up your confidence and your skill level to move on to more advanced projects later on. I guess in summary, I'd like to say you don't have to know how to do everything to be handy. Part of the skill is knowing when it's smarter to hire help. Start with small, safe projects, and you'll build confidence for bigger ones over time. Let me know down in the comments if there is a repair that you're considering DIY or hiring a pro. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and come back for more budget-friendly repair tips. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.